Now, did you bother to watch it? This lot did, and they did it for you. Part 1 of the war between the land and the sea. What a stupid title. Part 1 of the war between the land and the sea is called... what? Homo Aqua. God. Because you-know-who has declared that the sea devils are racist. What a load of cobblers. Let's see what JT and the Hootastic panel have made of it.
Yes, indeed. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Who's Views Reviews. Here we are then with part 1 of our 5-part series where we are indeed looking at the war between the land and the sea. This one is part 1, Homo Aqua. Excuse me. How are you all? Hi, I'm here with Kirsty. I'm here with Paul. I'm here with Third Doctor Ian and Emilio. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. It's good to see you all.
Hello.
And I'm glad you're here. I am glad you're here, I have to say. After all that. Just when we thought, after the season 21 announcement that, things might be looking up. Here we are. I'm a bit despondent, can you tell? Great to see you all in the chat. Let's have a look and see what's in here. Mark Walker is with us saying the bore between the hams and the pea. Yeah. Hello, Golden Age Geek. How are you? It's nice to see you. Good to see you. Georgia Donald is with us. Good evening, panel and chat. Hello to you. Matthew is saying, I really liked it, and I give it a 4 out of 5. That's very early for your scores. We'll get the scores later. We've got Jodie joining us now as well. Hello, you.
Hi.
Hiya. What else we got here? Golden Age Geek saying, cheap CGI. You can say many things about it, but cheap isn't the word I would use to describe the quality. Oh, perhaps we're going to get into all of that. Do we have a 50-50 in our audience for this particular one then? I don't know. Let's find out. What else we got here? Glenn is with us. Glenn Piper with us. Got to praise the spin-off. It was faithful to the canon and lore of the show. Sea devils being mentioned, etc. A spooky setup, not knowing what the Homo Aqua are going to do next. Hopefully it delivers. Okay. Craig Dunlop saying to us, episode 1 was not too bad, but we moved into full election mode in episode 2. So episode 2, we're going to be talking about on Thursday, everybody. We're going to concentrate tonight on Homo Aqua. So yeah, that's going to be interesting, isn't it? Okay. I don't know where to start with it. I mean, I have to be honest. Who viewers, you'll know I haven't really been bothered about the fish thing since it was announced, and certainly since the Gatwa series that we've all lived through. I don't know about you guys on the panel. I mean, was anybody looking forward to this?
I wasn't looking forward to it, but watching it, well, certainly part 1, bits of it I quite liked, and I feel really bad saying that because I've been panning it ever since it was about to arrive. So bits of it I quite liked, but it was just a bit meh for me, to be honest. But
yeah, take it or leave it.
Who was that?
It was a take it or leave it sort of thing. Didn't wow, but I was like, it's all right. But I know it's only going to get worse as of next week as well.
Oh, you reckon?
We're going to expect lectures and we're bad and the turtles are dying and whatnot and we're bad people because that's what Russell wants us all to be.
I'm so glad that I made notes, because if it hadn't been for my notes, I would have forgotten what happened in episode 1 and probably also episode 2, and I would be relying on you lot telling me. Yeah, so I do have a few notes in here. Stephen L. Reese is with us saying, hi all, just the works, we'll catch up later. I've not watched it yet, and I'm in no rush to either. There was a hell of a lot of noticed on social media yesterday from Doctor Who fans. Sheila B. in the Devotions, good evening all, I've not watched it. Martin Duffy said, I'm still outside touching grass. And Mark Greaves saying to us, bland characters, bored. Hmm.
And annoying, some of them as well. Yeah.
John Mason saying hello to us, and Golden Age Geek saying, I love, is this Balf? Lorne Balf? I don't know his name, but Lorne Balf's score is different to what Murray usually provides. It's time we got a new composer for the main show. It's the time we got new everything for the main show. New everything, honestly.
Well, it fits in better with the Land Between the War and the Sea than it does with the Sea Devils, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that. Okay.
No. Well, I've got to that point now where I can't remember the scores, which is unlike me, because I remember certain TV shows, but when it comes to Doctor Who now, or even this, I'm just not interested, because it just all seems to be quite watered down, you know? So PTA's with us. Toby ruined it, badly casted. That's interesting. And
yeah, he's terrible. He is terrible. Yeah.
I've not watched it either, and I don't want to, says Cara. Well, listen, before we get into all that, I want to get on to, if you were with us on our launch show on Thursday, we played the ratings game. Yes, we did. Oh, yes, we did. And I asked the panel who were with us on Thursday to give us part 1 and part 2. So as I say, we're going to be doing part 2 on Thursday. But I can tell you, if you don't know, these are the results of the overnight ratings. Episode 1, 2.83 million. And then the Plastic Apocalypse, which followed practically immediately after it, dropped to 2.1 million, which is very, very familiar for the last time we did it, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go, 2.83 million for part 1. So let's see who won, shall we? From Thursday.
Wasn't me.
Paul said 1.5. Ian said 2.3. Kirsty said 2.2. Emilio went to 2.8. George went to 2.1. Miles went to 2.3. And I said 2.2. So there you go, everybody. Now, Emilio was the closest. He said 2.8, but he wasn't spot on. And he didn't get
so no pencil for you.
No.
Damn, though, 300,000 viewers.
Yeah, well, Emilio, let's see what you could have won. Yes, you could have won straight from 1982 this fabulous radio General Electric AM or PM alarm clock with FM and AM stereo settings. You can also get into MW. If you're too young, you'll have to Google that one.
Oh.
But no, back it goes to Argos. Send it back to Argos. Because
Have you still got that in your loft, JT? I bet you have.
I called 1982 and they popped it through. Send it back to Argos. He didn't win it. What a shame, Emilio.
Oh, I'm really disappointed. I'm
I know you
heartbroken.
are. I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this then, everybody. Who's going to kick us off with points of view, first of all, about part 1 of The War Between the Land and the Sea, stupid title, Homo Aqua.
I quite like the opening section when you've got the Sea Devil being caught in the net and then them killing it. That was quite a nice opening. What really rankled with me was, why is Unit so bloody stupid that they can get someone confused and he becomes a replacement for another character, another member of staff? How stupid is that? It really doesn't make any sense, does it? And then that general naming the Sea Devils because they can't be racist about it. And he decided to name them there and then. This is what they're called now, okay? Because I'm deciding on that.
Paul, he actually says, we're better than that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What really put me off about that general, someone said on social media, and it's really like it's messed with my brain, that all the promo stuff that they had, and he was explaining each character. Someone was saying it looks like the beginning of a ride at Alton Towers or Thorpe Park with the way he's acting and the way his acting was. And it really put me off because I was like, yeah, it looks like when you're waiting for a ride and it's like the monsters are coming. It was, bad acting.
Yeah. It's very camp, isn't it? It was quite camp and overdone. But I think with the whole naming thing, it would have made sense when they had got to the point where obviously they're having the ambassadorial meeting. If they had just said, "Oh, by the way, look, we called them the Sea Devil," but maybe for political reasons. Let's not refer to them with devil because we don't want to upset them and cause any. That would have been more. I would have understood more than they just had to think of something random on the spot, and it would have explained the terrible name of Homo Aqua. I would have gone in that. I would have maybe accepted that, but yeah, it didn't.
I don't
Really.
understand though. I mean, why the Sea Devils couldn't have named themselves and said we're
Yeah.
called blah blah blah. That would have made more sense.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
All
yeah,
that, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that
yeah,
would mean.
yeah.
Good point. Andy Gladhill Models, thank you, Andy, mate, for your super chat. Listen to 2 critics reviewing it on Radio 4. They didn't have much good to say about it. Both said they wouldn't watch the rest of the episodes.
Oh, really?
That's coming from BBC Radio 4, everybody. God, yeah. John Mason saying to us, I said 3 million on the ratings game. Have I won anything? No. So what else is going on with? I mean, yeah, I don't. Can I just get this out of the way first of all about myself here? Russell Tovey. Exactly the performance I was expecting. Too harsh?
Well, he's not getting any gravitas, has he? To be honest, I know he's meant to be an everyman and a bit wishy-washy, but he's not watchable at all. He's just honestly. Only person that stands out more than him is probably Gemma Redgrave, you know, and she's in a coma when she's acting. It's incredible.
If you're gonna have someone take the kind of effectively the everyman, the lead, they need to have some charisma about them.
Yeah.
Say like I know we were talking about Children of Earth is probably a neat comparison to this, but you know you don't have Captain Jack at the lead for this series. So John Barrowman has a bundle of charisma. So if you're going to have somebody take that kind of lead position on, then you need someone that the audience can really warm to and is engaging as an actor and as a character. I just don't think he just comes across as like a little bit of a camp bumbling fool, really. It can't really take him seriously. And then add into the mix some of the full DEI stuff. Again, it just makes it less believable. I don't see him with his daughter and his ex-wife. I just don't see. I don't buy it. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. Exactly. Yes, he doesn't fit with the family at all. It's just weird.
That's
weird.
what I mean.
Part of the problem, though, was the daughter's 25 if she's a date.
Yeah.
That is weird. Why is that not coming out in social media? Because I have no thing against the actress, but I just was like, are they trying to portray her as being like...
Well, remember, Caroline Ford was 47 when she played Susan, so, you know, it works both ways, you know. So it's nice.
But she was totally not believable as a youngster.
Yeah.
It was like watching the Grease cast, but as an adult. I'm thinking, that really doesn't work, you know?
Very good. Very good. We've got this from JWC Reviews. Hi, mate. Too much time was spent characterizing Barclay as an everyman, as you said, Paul. Despite their attempts, Barclay came off as weak, flaccid, with a ridiculously woke personal life.
Yeah.
I mean, it just didn't... This is somebody that we're supposed to take to as the lead character.
Yeah.
And I just don't think, for me, you know, I'm 10 minutes into this thinking this is exactly what Tovey does. He just churns out the same performance for everything, as far as I'm concerned. It could have been in any show.
When he played, was it Midshipman Frame on Voyage of the Damned? That was the exact same performance, wasn't it? When he did that. Bumbling, kind of lily-livered, kind of weak character. Yeah.
Yeah, but also similar to the one he played in Being Human.
Yeah, the werewolf.
Yeah,
I do think that the episode pacing wise, I felt went way too quick into things, and I get it trying to get to the crux of the story in terms of the sea devils. I'm going to call them sea devils versus the humans, and the kind of political context of it. But I do think I felt it just. The events happened way too quickly. He was all of a sudden, in that island in the Mediterranean, and you didn't get the time to really buy into the characters, or just spend a little bit more time with him to show us that this guy is an ordinary bloke. It kind of, you're telling me that he's ordinary rather than actually showing me that here's an ordinary guy put in a very, very, scary position, and I'm meant to sympathize for him and go along that journey with him. I just didn't give me the time to do that. And I think that's ultimately a story issue and a pacing issue with this. I think if they had stretched it to an hour long, given the first 15 minutes a little bit more time to breathe, to give him a bit more time as a character, but before he gets into the situation where he's thrusted into into being picked up by UNIT, then I think it may have served the character better. I do agree the acting was poor, but I think story-wise there could have been done more to help the audience, kind of get engaged with him.
I think one of the tests for me though was normally when Richard and I kind of binge watch stuff. That's the way we tend to watch nowadays. We've kind of changed our viewing habits. And I have to say the telling point for me was when it got to the end of the first episode, I was like really wanting to go to bed, but felt I had to watch the second episode, whether I wanted to or not. And I was like, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't good either.
It wasn't that good either. I know what you mean. Yeah.
I mean, we've just finished watching Talamasca, and there's just no comparison. It's well acted, it's well put together, it's exciting. It's like you want to see the next episode because you want to know what's happening. So we're like, Richard and I are like sort of chugging down 3 episodes a night and then regretting it because we've done it too fast, That's what it missed for me. I don't know why I didn't find it that thrilling, but I just didn't. I didn't love it.
I agree with you. Mark Greaves is saying to us here, thank you for your super chat, Mark. The general might as well have called them floaty boat place. Every character and every man who likes chips and lives in a semi. Yeah. This is the thing. I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying there, Jodie. But the other thing about this is this first episode was so typically RTD. Everything he writes has a template. And you can see that now. You have to see where the main character works. You have to see where the characters live. You have to see that they have some sort of private life. You have to see that they have some sort of family life. You have to see usually their sexuality. It's all the same. And it's as though the bigger story gets in the way sometimes with him.
Yeah.
I just don't think, I agree with you, Joe and Paul, I just don't think there was enough of a hook in this.
I just think he needs to maybe leave some more mystery about things so that you're trying to unravel the story as you go along. I don't know. I just know I didn't really care about seeing the second episode. I wouldn't have watched it had we not been on tonight, even though I can't be in on Thursday. I would not have watched it. I'm like, it just was, and honestly, I mean, it's so formulaic now. It's almost like, and the thing that really surprised me was I went on social media the next day to see what folk were saying, and there's a load of folk out there who absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
But could that be? Can I put it to you, Whovius? I'll just say this from Dalek Lives Matter. It's an odd concoction of unbelievable characters, terrible dialogue, and woke-in jokes. What a mess! Yeah. Could it be that following 2 years, Ian, of Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor Who, that this has come along, admittedly with a different sort of look, a different tone, different styles of performance, slightly more mature than Doctor Who was? Could it be that the Doctor Who fans who are going, oh my God, this is fantastic? And I've seen this from people I know myself. They've gone onto social media saying, well, after 2 years of that nonsense, this is what Who should have been like. Could it be that because it's filled a gap for them, Ian? What do you think?
Possibly. Cheers, Kirst. Possibly. One last roll of the dice of hope, maybe. But I mean, personally, I found it offensive right from the very start when it said created by Russell T Davies. It wasn't. It was pillaged from Malcolm Hulke and Barry Letts and Terrence Dicks, and a lot of people way more talented than they ever could be on their best day. Yeah. And that was offensive. Russell Tovey playing a straight man married with a kid is offensive because he's a gay man. And Russell T Davies has said straight people should not play gay characters, and the opposite should be true as well. But he's just a hypocrite when it suits him. And he was bland. And we all know why he cast Russell Tovey, don't we? We know why he cast him before, and it's the same reason he cast... Ncuti Gatwa, allegedly. It's people, I think it's people that he rather likes, regardless of talent or ability to carry off the role. It was so full of wokery, and it was so ticky boxy, and it was so bland. It was a decent setup, I suppose, but it was done very quickly. Here's some people fishing. There they've chucked just in case you don't get the message, they've just chucked a plastic bottle over, and although it's a plastic bottle and it would probably float, let's just see it sinking all the way down to where the sea devils are. And then up comes a net and they've caught one, and they immediately shoot it because humans bad. And it's not very imaginative, really. And then you get to unit, and it's security people, and it seems like its scientific element are only allowed there if they're in a wheelchair. Because how many of them is there now? They've probably had to widen the office to get them all in, and widen the doors too. I don't know. It's just, oh God. Sorry.
And just because it kind of what you were saying, Ian, and kind of slightly ties in about the beginning, right? It was a very, very speedy, kind of opening. I feel like there was a massive missed opportunity to actually keep the mystery, in terms of don't show the sea devil right at the beginning. Show that something bad happens on that boat, and then cut to back to the Mediterranean island, where I think there could have been some really good atmosphere that was built around that, a bit of a horror aspect, that they could have, really spent a little bit of time there to build the sea devils as a real kind of threat, and you don't know what it is just yet. I do think that was a massive missed opportunity, and would have definitely elevated the story and caught my attention right at the beginning.
Well, there's a bit that caught my attention. I thought it was really nice, and they didn't show it long enough. When they were checking, kind of doing the research for what happened, and they were looking on the laptop trying to get access, and he couldn't get access, all that kind of stuff. But the guy sitting next to Russell Tovey's character, Barclay, was looking at what was going on. There's a great shot of sea devils attacking somewhere, and it looked brilliant. And this black and white kind of Blair Witch Project type shooting, it looked really good. Yeah. And then you didn't see any of that. And it's like, that looks really interesting. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, we're not going to see that. Okay, right. That was such a waste, I thought.
I think Emilio's got a great point there, considering that there was hardly any publicity for this, really, in the scheme of things. This wasn't associated with Doctor Who in any way, shape, or form, like we've had before with spin-offs, like from the makers of Doctor Who, because Doctor Who wasn't that successful or popular. So therefore, they've tried to distance themselves. But, considering that they didn't show the new versions of the Sea Devils or whatever they happen to be, because I'm very confused as to what they are. Human versions, hello. But, and what was that big fat fish thing from Disney? Anyway, but, you got all this sort
I think he was in bed knobs and broomsticks, but I'm not sure.
I think he was.
I just thought I just thought Nemo had let himself go a bit. That was all.
Was that how it is?
Maybe fish pies, yeah, was it? Yeah.
Well, he needs the work, Nemo. But yeah, they could have done more about that, couldn't they? And built up that suspense, Amelia. We've got the carcass here. Hello, mate. How are you? Well, we've had 3 years of crap. So we see any improvement as a success. It could be that. But Team Ice Cream 9015 is back. And I want to get back to this. It was pretty bloody good, to be honest. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'd like to think people here aren't disingenuous, but are people trying to not enjoy the show?
No.
Team Ice Cream, the whole point about these reviews is that we will come on and review it. And you're new to us, and I get that, and you don't understand it, but we're bloody not bending the knee just to say, look, it's good because it's this. We don't do that on this channel. If anything had been good, we'd be raving about it. We're not actually saying at the moment, from what the guys have said and what I've said so far, that it was awful. We're just saying at the moment, it wasn't bloody good. It wasn't up there. It wasn't where it could have been. And that's the problem with new Doctor Who now. The Ncuti Gatwa stuff was atrocious. Go back and look at our reviews of those 2 years of pain and agony that they put us through.
We're also we're also just really burnt out from the Ncuti Gatwa stuff. So this is, we're not slagging this. This is just a glimmer of hope of actually something decent out of the crap that we've had. And as you say, you can look back at reviews and we've actually praised some new stuff and not slated it, but just said it could be better.
This was only part one we're reviewing tonight as well. We've got part two to review, which we've seen, and then we've got the remaining episodes as well. It could build up. I'm hoping it does, because I was bored. I like you, Jodie. By the end of part one, I thought, oh God, there's another one.
Well, they kept selling it as, you know, it was maybe going to be a return to Torchwood, because I adored early Torchwood. I really loved it.
She did.
I loved it. And I thought it was fab. And I was kind of hopeful that it might be tension building like that and have some really charismatic acting, which I'm sorry, Torchwood did have charismatic acting and actors. And that's where I'm not saying it was awful. I'm just saying it was meh. And I really didn't care much about it.
I think Amelia's right, Joe. I think if they'd made more suspense in part one, and maybe had part one split over the first 2 episodes, because you've got 5 episodes here. And by the second episode, we're practically done. You can see where it's going, because you know there's going to be a love story coming into this and all this sop, you know. But, you know, it maybe if they had done that suspense, if they had built it up, if they had left the Sea Devil revealed to the very end of part one, in Doctor Who traditional style.
Yeah.
I think ultimately they misunderstand, in my opinion. Again, people can disagree, but I find the Sea Devils work a lot better, or the Silurians work a lot better in a more small scale story, where it's more about, I think it's more the thing that makes me interested is that the rest of humanity does not know that these creatures, you know, own the planet and inherit the planet beforehand. I think the message getting out to humanity, you could really build that up over maybe two parts, and in the middle section, then the you know, word gets out and, you know, chaos erupts. But I think the for me, it's more if you create a great atmosphere with those creatures, and it's really, we've got to stop them before they you know, blow our cover, basically. I think that's a much more interesting story. It's almost ticking time bomb, basically.
More a sort of V take on it, where you get sucked into thinking that you might get along. How the aliens came in V. I know the Sea Devils aren't aliens, but they came in V, and it was all going to be lovely and happy, and, you know.
It did have a bit of a V vibe to it, didn't you think, actually?
No, I don't. I don't actually. I mean, no, I know what you're getting at, but for me, it didn't. It was just there. Maybe because I've been invested with Sea Devils and Silurians for all these years. I like the point there, of course, that the planet doesn't know about it. And this is one thing about modern Who, isn't it? That the planet now, Earth now does know about aliens since the Slitheen thing. We went off into some sort of
and the Doctor,
and they know all about that, and it happens every Christmas that we get invaded and all this sort of nonsense, or the Titanic falls from the sky, or whatever it's going to be. So, you know, there was not much more about how the human race has responded. Yes, you had all the news things, and, you know, Trinity Wells turning up again and all this sort of stuff. But I think there's a point there that maybe they've missed something about that as well, because would the human race have been just complacent to say, oh, look, there's now sea creatures coming out, you know? But, you know, again, it depends on, as a geek, for a Doctor Who geek, where the timeline is, because twice before the humans got it wrong. I'm talking about the Silurians and the Sea Devils. Or does this happen before Matt Smith's stories?
Yeah.
Or is it after? In which case, it's 3 times we got it wrong. You know, so you know, no wonder people tap on the shoulder.
RTD screwed about so much with the timelines that I can't keep track anymore, and I don't really understand them anymore. And that partly is quite frustrating if you're into this sort of stuff, that you can't keep everything sort of, I don't know, sorted in your head. And him constantly making the aliens seen by the humans and on a big scale, for me, has ruined a lot of the way Doctor Who operated.
And I think that's what makes, I'm going to keep mentioning Children of Earth, but why I think it works so well. The 4, 5, 6, they basically take control of the children, which impacts every family. It's very personal, but you don't see the general populace does not know what's going on. They do not know that there's actually alien creatures. I think at the end they kind of myth it, kind of find a very cheap excuse as to what could have happened with the children or what had gone on. But it's only really a small group of individuals to actually know what's happening. Torchwood and you know the small members of UNIT, etc. And I think that worked well. It wasn't as if they had revealed themselves in terms of what they were to the world. And you can get away in a kind of one-off spin-off of finding a way of basically just saying, oh, you know, it was a hoax or whatever it was that had kind of gone on, and brush it off. And as an audience who's watching it, you can kind of go along with it. But I think, revealing it to the world, I had to suspend my disbelief anyway in terms of how humanity would actually respond to that.
I think sometimes they just do it in Doctor Who and now in this because they like the CGI. I mean, the effects of these, whatever they were, coming up, cities or whatever they are, transport coming up, were lovely. The one that sailed across Big Ben was very well done, and it was very atmospheric, and it was very well done. I'll give them that. And you see these things, but how does that affect the resolution at the end of part 5? What happens afterwards? These are questions they never seem to. They just move on, don't they, to the next story and forget about stuff. We've got Golden Age Greeks in the brief glimpses of social commentary aside. I'm rather on board with the message. It's a fact that the world is being polluted, and Berkeley represents that humanity does care, but the elites don't. Totally agree. We all know that. As like I said on Thursday, though, you know, and I was right to an extent in whichever episode it was, because they focused on London and then New York got it. But you know, obviously the big business thing was starting to come in. Yeah, that's fine. But will they show this in somewhere like Pakistan or India, or China or Russia? You know, I mean, look what's happening with China today. I've seen pictures only today of that's come from China with pollution everywhere. We know how people in India and Pakistan look at their rivers and throw all sorts of things in their rivers. You know, are they going to do that, or is it just aimed at the alleged civilized West?
I was thinking about India and Pakistan, JT, because they are known for the rivers that are literally just full, aren't they? You know, you can't. And I just don't think they would dare to do that, because that would be preaching against their preferred demographic, really. And I can't imagine the Sea Devils, Homo whatever, chucking all the rubbish back on top of, you know.
I would have liked to have seen that, Ian. I would have liked to have seen all that on Delhi.
It'd look no different, would it? Let's be right. I mean, it's just, how would you tell?
I actually do get incredibly irritated, though, by, I don't think this was in episode 1, so apologies, but the whole comment about young people knowing about what's the damage done to our planet, because I really object to that. I have been teaching 33 years now, and I have been teaching global warming for all of those 33 years.
Exactly.
We have known about this since I was at school. I got taught about global warming.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Complete rubbish about this being a recent thing. The only thing that's changed recently is we're finally seeing the extreme weather events that were being talked about in the 1980s as going to happen, and they are now happening. And that's why I teach the kids now. You are actually seeing what I was being told would happen, and that folk were being laughed at for saying in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So
no, you're right.
I agree. That comment. I really do. Because teachers have been teaching this in this country for a very long time. It's been part of our curriculum.
Yeah.
I totally agree. It's an issue I wouldn't touch. Personally, I wouldn't touch global warming and linking it to the Sea Devil, just because I think we all have a very different opinion to what degree, that not disputing there isn't global warming, but to what degree there is, and to what and to the kind of fear mongering that goes on around that particular topic. I just think it's if you're trying to capture a broad audience, which is you're trying to do, I think with the political climate and the way that things are, I just think it's a no-go. I mean, you can maybe allude to it in the story, but I don't think it should be the sole reason as to why the Sea Devils want to, get back at humanity. I thought it'd be more of I thought the main reason really should be, this land is ours. We were here before you, and that should be the main reason, personally.
No, I agree with you, Emilio. I think that's always what the Silurians and the Sea Devils wanted to do. This planet is ours, you apes. There was no reference to the human beings being apes, which I think there needs to be in this series because there always were. And you know, it's a case of basically, it's a shame that they didn't concentrate on that thing, because the message there would, you know, from the Sea Devils is true, but that's why they would want to reclaim the planet and get rid of us, surely, Paul.
Yeah, I was going to say, they got the timing of when it all happened with the Silurians wrong? Didn't they say something about Earth being a new planet or something? And they got because the planet was still forming, they ended up being stuck and they couldn't get out. It wasn't any about the story about the moon coming and them thinking it was going to be a disaster, and they went to shelters to protect
No, it's very much
themselves.
summarized.
Yeah, they kind of
incorrectly.
buggered that up, didn't they, a little bit? So that didn't make any
Yes.
sense, did it? That was all a bit what, you know.
But
So
the factual history was just dismissed, wasn't it? We've got Frank Sanich saying to us here, RTD is burnt out and jaded. This could get better, but I just hate being hit over the head with woke subjects. Craig Dunlop saying to us, after a decade of ultra poor Doctor Who, we're ending up praising this thing because it seems great by comparison, but it's still dreadfully woke and poor. That's what I think a lot of people are at the moment. And Glenn Piper Paul's saying definitely has a Torchwood Children of Earth vibe to it, but you can tell most ideas have come from that. I'm not gonna disagree with you, Glenn. There were certain similarities, like an unwanted, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? A hero that doesn't want to be there.
The
accidental hero, the accidental lead, out of his depth. Pardon the pun. You've got the forces, you've got the military and unit around him. Okay, you haven't got Torchwood this time, but you know what I'm saying there. You've got these, not aliens, but you've got these other beings there, and then you've got this great big thing, glass thing.
Yeah, the flumes.
When they were building that, I thought I've seen this before.
Yeah,
it's the same building, isn't it? I think they even said it's the same building as where 4, 5, 6 were held. So it's even using the same kind of set.
Oh, was it? So you're paying attention. I think
the thing we're talking about, like comparison to a certain bar, right? And for me, if I'm looking at like a standalone series that is like this, I'm going to compare it to Children of Earth, and so I'm not comparing it to the last 2 years of Doctor Who. Screw that! I'm taking this as an isolated series, which is what they're trying to sell this as, and so I'm going to benchmark it against something like that. And you know, if it's not. So far, it's not close to the bar of that set. And so when somebody says, you know, are we just being negative? I think it just depends on what your bar is really, and what you're comparing it to.
That I was going to say, JT, going back to what you said about this comparing it to the last 2 years of Shooty. I do agree partly with the fact the tone of this is what I'd like Doctor Who to have been, a bit more serious, a bit more adult. Kind of season 7. It's not as good as season 7. Don't get me wrong, but it's got like a more serious adult tone to it. Whereas Shooty stuff is all camp and frivolous and silly and very tongue in cheek. I want more dramatic Doctor Who. This is more dramatic, not quite what I want, but it's in the right direction. That's what Doctor Who should have been, and I agree with that. That's what's making us think, oh, this is maybe a bit better because it's a bit more grown up in some places.
I think that's why most of us would have got it, because you know. Minutes into episode 1, I thought that this is totally different. You can feel it. You can see it. But can you imagine, guys, had they done 8 episodes of Doctor Who with that mindset?
Yeah.
You know, each episode would have been different. It would have had less of the campery in it, less of
it'd be killed stone dead if Shooty walked on, though. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, but, you know, this is where Russell, because I know you're watching, when you come back for your god-awful special next year for Christmas, that's the tone you need. You need to take Doctor Who seriously, and you need a lead actor that's going to do it. Not Russell Tovey style. You need a good quality actor, but the tone has to be that way. It's obviously he's thought Doctor Who, woke kids, which we know, that was proved, didn't work. This thing, War Between the Land and the Sea, adults. You know, and I think that's where they've fallen down. It's got to be.
He managed to do the Sarah Jane Adventures, which was 10 times more thrilling than what I watched last night.
That's true. Yeah. Of course, adults watched that, didn't they?
Yeah.
I watched it with my kids.
And it covers some really deep issues like homelessness. I remember the one on homelessness and with Clyde, and again it touched on some really deep topics for the kids. I actually felt this felt a little bit more like a teen drama really than an adult drama personally, Children of Earth felt like an adult drama. This felt like
very much so.
Yeah,
yeah. Not as
yeah,
bad.
I agree. More closer to what you want from Doctor Who. Yeah,
this was no way as bad as Class, and didn't like
No.
that at all. But
No.
I just think, again, it's one of these questions we're going to be asking throughout these episodes where we're reviewing this. Why wasn't Doctor Who like this? We got Robert Payne is saying the Aquakine rose up on rock platforms in the Thames, but why did they need a filtered water-filled tube to swim into the building down the road a few yards? That's a very, very good question. And Matt is saying to us, this is probably the best work that the LGBT desk at the BBC has produced. Hashtag LGB without the TQ. Andy Gladhill, Andy's saying, I can tell that by episode 4, you will all be bored stiff.
Not until then, surely. But I think next week I'll definitely do if it doesn't already.
And Golden Age Geeks, I'm going to disagree. Every Silurian and Sea Devil story is essentially the exact same, and this is a departure from that. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I get what you're saying about there was one Silurian, one Sea Devil story back in the day. Warriors of the Deep. Did we need a departure though? I don't know. It's a good question though, but thanks for that, Golden Age Geek. I'm glad you enjoyed it though, I really am. Legion of James with us saying, I agree with Emilio. To be honest, Doctor Who as a whole works best when the threat is secret, away from the rest of the world. It makes the threat somehow more intense. Yeah, and Doctor Who got away with it for 26 years.
You can see where they spent the money though. All the Disney money went to this though, didn't it? Not to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It does feel like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This budget.
What would they have done differently, though, if the money had gone into Doctor Who entirely? What would they have done differently?
They could have CGI'd Shooty to be a better actor or a different actor. They could have done that with it.
It's not that advanced, Paul. It's not that advanced, is it?
That's true.
What about
not yet. Not yet.
You mentioned the newsreader, JT. I've forgotten the name again.
Trinity Wells. Yeah.
Trinity Wells. So is RTD saying that over a 20-year span of being on TV as a newsreader, this very prominent professional black lady has not advanced her career at all, and she's still doing exactly the same job? What a sexist
News
bastard!
That's the
thing. Terrified Monk saying to us, I watched the first episode. While visually it looked good, I was bored to tears, so I didn't bother with the second. Fair enough. You know, obviously Jodie and I were very, very near there as well. The things we do for this channel, tell you. God. And Golden Age Geek again is saying, when the world is ending every week, that type of story loses its impact.
It
does.
The problem.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God, again, really?
And the consequences, like for me, any kind of personal impact, because you don't really see what's happening on the ground with the everyday human, basically. And again, like I said, I'm really gonna hate comparing it, but again, in Children of Earth, you get to see what happened to, let's say, Yanto kids and the kids that are getting taken away, and there's real you see the personal consequences of the situation. In this, there's nothing. For me as an audience member, you feel removed really, because it's all to do with the political, the government, and I know they're trying to portray Barclay as that stand-in, but that's not enough for me as an audience member to latch onto. I need to, it's obviously we'll go into episode 2. We're not going to cover with the plastic thing, but it's just too. Yeah, I feel too detached from it, if that makes sense.
You have a point, because obviously, as we pointed out at the beginning of the show, it did lose viewers between episode 1 and episode 2, which was literally within 5 minutes after episode 1 finishing.
That's quite scary, isn't it?
Happened with Space Babies and The Devil's Board. The same thing happened in part 1 of both Space Babies and part 1 of this. Although part 1 of this was much better than Space Babies on many, many, many levels.
Yeah,
it didn't capture the Nobbies enough to keep them retained for part 2. And it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen with part 3 and 4, which again, in case you don't know, everybody, are back to back this Sunday on BBC One. They are really pushing it to get it out of the way before Christmas.
Be interesting to see if there's a drop between parts 3 and 4, or between 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, that way around. Yeah,
we're going to be talking about that, aren't we? And we'll look at that. We'll do the ratings game on Thursday's show as we predict what we think it's going to be for 4 and 5.
They might be lucky because it's the Strictly semi-final on Saturday. and then they'll have the results Sunday. So I think it might have been a blessing yesterday because they had I'm a Celebrity that finished up last night.
Oh, is that finished now?
Do we have any idea what the overnights for that were in comparison? Any ideas?
Yes, I've got that somewhere. I'm a Celebrity, Get Him Out of Me. Did better.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Where did I put that? It is a lot better, but apparently it was down. Talk amongst yourselves, viewers. Apparently it was down on last year's final finale.
Right.
Apparently they had like 13 million votes or something. Anton Deck was saying last night on the television for votes in terms of who's gonna win. So
here we go. The final of sorry, Camelia. The final of I'm a Celebrity, Get Him Out of Me got 6.4 million, which is 45.4% of the share. It was down 600,000 from last year, but about the same as 2023. Thank you, Bed Weir. Keeping an eye on the rate.
So it tanked it basically,
yeah. So, but having said that, this was on at the same time as the Celebrity Traitors on BBC One, which was getting everybody 15 million overnight.
Wow.
On BBC One. So that goes back to what I was always saying. If you put something on that the public will want to see, they'll damn well sit down on the night and they will watch it. And this, like Doctor Who, they didn't. Because let's face it, the amount of people that are watching this, 2 million. That's the same as Doctor Who was getting for a little while before it fell to 1.9, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's the fan base.
Yeah.
That's what's left of our fan base tuning in. I don't know what you guys think of that, but I reckon that's what it is.
Yeah. There's not any new people at all. It's just old fans basically watching it.
Yeah. So who's going to come back for Christmas 26? 2 million, I can call it now. Simple as that. Jason Parker, it's good to see you. What you're saying to me. I saw it, and in my opinion, it was a continuation of uninteresting misanthropic bile. Ooh. I have anti-human fatigue at this stage. RTD is a bitter man with no ideas, and I wasn't invested to care. I think that's the same as myself, really. I don't know. I don't even understand what these things are. I don't recognize the new Sea Devils at all. Why they've redesigned them again when they had such a nice, and here's a compliment with Chibnall, they had such a nice design for the Jodie Whittaker one, which I never watched. I love the design. I thought that looked great. Why not just reuse that design? And then what are these human versions, of which we've seen one? Now, we know there's two. We've got another one coming in episode 3, apparently, which is Tide.
Well,
I'm not going to hold my breath to get an explanation. We've waited to explain Mavity, etc., blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Never got any explanations for it. They're not going to tell us why they're different. They're just different. And
but are they Sea Devils, though? I still think they could be the underwater menace
the fish people. Yeah.
I still think because they look more
that would solve all our problems if they were, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
I thought that the reason why they were named, you know how they kept naming the different ones in the episode. My understanding was that they're meant to be it's not. I think they're trying to get at the Sea Devils from the John Pertwee era. Even though the other ones are slightly different to them, and they're almost like they're variations of the same kind of, I don't know, breed, let's say, and that's why you got the big Finding Nemo fish and stuff like that. So I think they're trying to explain maybe why the Sea Devils are look different, and why you got a human version of amphibian that they call a version of that. Again, I don't like it personally, but that seemed to be what they were trying to say.
We're not going to know because they're not going to tell us. Even a simple line from Kate or something like that. Oh, it's a different. Oh, they look different. There's a different species. Oh, it's something. It's just one simple line would for the geeks like I am. I personally need that, to be honest, to say this is a different. They were found somewhere else.
Salt was born in Atlantis. That would do. That's all you need. That's it.
I mean, they did explain where this sort of come from, didn't they? There was an underwater accident, and that would have woken them up, and they're out and about again now. I don't know. TARDIS 1963, hello to you. Despite all the mega money spent on this, it reeked of Cardiff trying to be London in many of the shots. And well, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Funky1463 saying at Third Doctor, Ian, this isn't a war, it's a next door neighbour's squabble that ends in a rubbish being thrown over the garden wall.
You're not wrong, Funky 1463. You're not wrong.
So job for Esther Ransom, that one, I think. Yeah. So.
I agree with Jody, says Golden Age Geek. When it comes to that, it reeks of RTD and Pete McTighe patting themselves on their backs and going, aren't we so modern and progressive? Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one as well, Golden Age, because that's what came through, especially when, as I said, we're going to talk about part 2 on Thursday, but I got that from both episodes. I got the fact that here we go. And I was only saying the other day, wasn't I, on Saturday, we were looking at the season 21 box set and the trailer, which was written and directed by Pete McTighe, whatever his name is, and how I said I wouldn't want him writing or phoning Doctor Who. There's reasons why, and the writing is not where it needs to be. And here, I think you're absolutely right, Golden Age. Here's RTD, and Pete puts it. Oh, look at us, aren't we good? We've got the climate change here. We've got the rubbish in the sea. We can use the Sea Devils to put this forward.
Yeah. Even the characters in the show like to give themselves pats on the back, like Gemma Redgrave, Kate to Shirley. Oh, well done for the water.
Thank you, Mrs. Bingham. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's so obnoxious and so just like, just F off.
So I gave that line too much passion when I did that. I do apologise. So.
Here's a good point from Dongo. As for the cast, it was utterly atrocious. The usual unit nightmare squad are there, but Tovey is woeful, and that general is toe curling. Then you have the horrible Tories in it too. Where were the horrible Tories?
I think the assumption is that it's a Tory, but when you see that pretty much all of them have their noses in the trough, it could have been Green, it could have been SNP, it could have been Labour, it could have been anybody, couldn't it? Really,
just politicians.
Well, politicians in general. You have got your kind of Nigel Farage in part 2, haven't we? We won't dwell on that, but
Albion, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah. But it's so predictable, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Well, it is, and again, it's putting it into the story. Everybody's as bad as each other in this. You can see as well from the setup that Kate knows there's other things going on here as well. She's actually that's part 2, isn't it? But she's playing politics as well. There was one bit that took me back here as well, which is, and it's like a friend of mine was saying today, there was an element there that could have been quite horrific in the broader sense of it, and had been missing.
Is that Kate's bedroom scene?
No, oh God, no. God. This particular scene had been missing from Doctor Who for quite some time, and it's the bit where Morgan and Adela are taken. They are pulled beneath the ground, which is an old trick. We've seen it before. We've seen it in Frontios. We've seen it in Hungry Earth.
Nice,
it works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This time it's water, which freaks me out. They turn the solid ground into water so that they've got easy access. That's something that should be played on.
Yeah. And I think when we were talking about like missed opportunities, you had that small group of soldiers. Again, spending more time with those soldiers, starting to maybe get a personal feeling toward them and get them killed one by one. Build the threat up, make it scary, add a bit of horror element to it.
Well,
they could have done a lot more with that and built on that setup.
No one really cared about them dying. They just dismissed it. It's like
they really missed a trick when they're doing the translation, and when they all came out of the water for the first time, when we thought it was just the soldiers watching them and it wasn't broadcast around the world. That bit when they came out and they were trying to do the translations, that was really good. That was quite tense, and you thought they're really going to kick off because they want revenge. Let's go a bit more exciting. We just went, didn't it? It didn't go anywhere. Did it?
You're right. And this is such a shame about this. Sorry, Kirsty, go on.
I just say with the translation, the Aquanese has been killing me off all day.
Yeah.
Come on, make a better name for a language, not effing Aquanese. Sounds like something off a bloody Duolingo. I was like, come on.
I love that. That's brilliant. The whole dialogue of that translation thing, there was an element that did grate on me. Don't refer to them as male.
Yeah.
That didn't need to be there at all.
Yeah.
Nothing like that needed to be there at all. This is the problem when you're taking it too much into, and you've got too many people taking it into realism just to tick the boxes. Doctor Who has always been about men in rubber suits playing monsters, and that's all we want. We want Doctor Who and the monsters. That's it.
And actually, do you know what? It would be really nice just once in a while to get somebody who's just a nasty enemy and they're just horrid. We want to win. I mean,
I'm half expecting
there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm half expecting this other male character, the other male Sea Devil was going to be a bit like the old Silurian, the young Silurians, but the nasty one who's going to kick off and cause problems, you know. And that's again a bit predictable. They've done that already, so they're going to use the same traits, same kind of cliches with that, and he'll be the baddie who's going to cause trouble with the humans, you know. And that's coming. I know it is.
Well, it's like I said on Thursday, I'm expecting Aquaman too.
But who was the male that she turned into then?
Oh, well,
that's a different one, I think. Yeah,
that's episode 2.
Oh, sorry, that's episode 2, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, my bad.
On Thursday, yes. On Thursday, because there's some interesting speculation about that one. One thing I got right on Thursday, though, everybody. Let's talk about this one from Derek first. Sarah Jane, Torchwood, and K9 and Company was much better than anything. RTD2 crap from the 60th anniversary to last night's rubbish. Even K9 was better, and that's saying something.
Bit cruel. I've watched K9 and Company several times since it was transmitted.
Yeah.
I think he's referring to the Australian K9 series. I think,
Oh,
but I'm not sure.
Let's be very careful with that because my friend produced that.
Yes, I know. I wasn't making any comment. I'm just pointing out what they were saying.
I'm saying to Derek, be very careful about that. That show is about to celebrate an anniversary, by the way. It's hugely popular. It's still getting reruns to this day, and a whole generation grew up with it. But that's for another show. I've got something planned when I'm fully better. With all this complaining about waste, why aren't the Sea Devils complaining about the stuff the BBC is throwing out like this? Well, maybe they are, and the BBC's keeping it quiet. You know what the BBC's like these days? Maybe
when you make it a film critic like Barry Norman turning up, but he's a Sea Devil, he'll be critiquing the series. That'll be interesting. Yeah.
Well, stay tuned because the Sea Devil might be hired to go on Question Time anytime now.
Possibly, yes. Yeah.
Tell you what's going on there. Unbelievable BBC. Yes, what was I going to say about this? What was I going to say? Can't remember what I was going to say. I was going somewhere and I can't remember what it was. Where was I? What was I saying?
You were about to mention maybe an article or something.
Oh yes, I could do that. Yeah, there's been plenty of reviews, everybody, obviously, about the episodes. Plenty of reviews. It's a mixed bag, and a lot of them, by the way, are quite similar to where we are, i.e. sort of on the fence, not quite knowing what to say, because it just didn't grab us. It didn't get us. Mm-hmm. What I'm going to take you to now is this one from The Telegraph. This earnest Doctor Who spin-off is inadvertently hilarious. I struggled to keep a straight face during RTD's The War Between the Land and the Sea. 3 out of 5 stars from the writer on this. The article goes on, if neither David Attenborough making documentaries or Greta Thunberg getting arrested has made you aware that we are messing up the oceans, then it's hard to see how a new Doctor Who spin-off from RTD is going to get the message through. But it gives it a good go. The War Between the Land and the Sea is a simple tale of impending planetary destruction that begins when a trawler finds an alien caught up in its nets. Okay, they got that bit wrong. Capturing and killing this Sea Devil, it quickly becomes apparent was a huge mistake. It rouses the ire of an entire subaquatic species who start appearing from the shallows like Anthony Gormley sculptures to ask humanity if they would kindly mind leaving them alone. They were here first, after all. Humanity being humanity, negotiations quite quickly descend into the total war described in the show's title. All of this finds us squarely in the alien catastrophe fiction file that includes War of the Worlds, The Independence Day, and Armageddon. Just as in those stories, a likable regular guy soon emerges to save humanity in this one. Step forward Russell Tovey, whose character Barclay used to book taxis for more important people until an HR error accidentally made him the most important person of all. Barclay is quickly chosen by the Sea Devils as humanity's global ambassador on the grounds that, unlike everyone around him in a position of power, he's not a pompous ass. The thing about the Sea Devils, you can't say we weren't warned. Doctor Who fans have been aware of the threat since 1972, when the bipedal marine race that used to rule the Earth before humans came along first appeared, with only John Pertwee to stop them, bless him. But even back then, they suffer from the total absence of menace that comes from looking like the rollerblading turtle from the Avanti West Coast adverts, crossed with the golfer Tommy Fleetwood. Flippant though that might be, and flippant though it may be to call things with flippers flippant, it encapsulates the problem from the war between the land and the sea. This is, how do you maintain the highest of high stakes, we're all going to die, into a friendly family drama? That, of course, is the balance beam that Doctor Who has walked for many decades, sometimes successfully, sometimes less so. I'm a huge RTD fan, says the writer, but I prefer his non-Who to his Who. As such, I enjoyed the first 2 episodes of The War Between the Land and the Sea, and the moments when it was Tovey who very nearly pulls this off, playing likeable everyman with his family. Whereas when it shifted gears and entered the universe, propelled by some rather obvious politics, composed a law involves relentless strings and a constant battle with its own effects budget, I struggle to keep a straight face. Perhaps the overt environmental message is meant as a prompt for the younger generation, but if so, it's all there misguided. They are far more aware of what their parents have done to our planet than their parents are. They don't need to be told that we need to build a better world. As one clunking line had it, they need to get us out of the way. I'm not sure I agree with that. Or perhaps in Tovey's Barclay, this is meant to be a fanfare for the little man ignored by bloviating politicians. Maybe it's time people like me had more of a voice, Barclay says at one point. And another line I can barely believe came from the mind of genius like Davis. I would argue that this again is boomers preaching to the converted. But in the context of the drama, it doesn't matter, because all of these lines are delivered by an awkward-looking Tovey in stern conversation with poor old Guga Mawatha Raw, dressed as a massive fish. In the war between earnestness and accidental comedy, I'm afraid there can only be one winner. Comments?
I think they're trying to get at like where can you actually go with this? There's only really like what the outcome of. I think conceptually that I just don't think this is the right story to do, and I think maybe that's what they're kind of also hinting at there, and that you know how it's inevitable how this will end. So it's a bit kind of bland and obvious in that way. It's not doing anything creative or something new. It's saying the messaging is nothing new, and Jodie was saying that as well. It sounded like he was basically, or she, I couldn't see, but it's just serviceable. It's probably the nice way of putting it. It's a serviceable family drama where the stakes are the stakes, and it's quite obvious of where this will go. That's how I kind of see it from what you were saying.
As we said already, the trouble is they've not got a lead actor or lead character that you can believe in and want to go along the ride with, and you're worried for their safety. I couldn't care less if Russell and his family got killed in the episode. I wouldn't care, because I don't have any investment in them, and that's part of the problem, you know.
It is, yeah, and that's why I think possibly, as we were saying before, this should have been stretched as an opener over 2 episodes and time taken with it and fleshed out more. That's the difference. If we go back to Emilio's example of Children of Earth, you actually begin to care for the lead protagonist played by Peter Capaldi there.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you care about him, and you care about the family to the extent of that shocking end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not going to get something like this. This isn't as mature as Children of Earth.
No, it's not.
And the great thing about John Frobisher for Peter Capaldi character is that he's a very conflicted. Like you can tell see the conflict within him. He's not a good character, neither a good character nor a bad character, and that's human beings. Like we have good and bad, and it's nuanced. And the problem with this is it's very black and white. It's, you know, Russell Tovey good with the young woke crowd. You know, Jenna Redgrave good. Yay! Like there's nobody that giving me any sort of nuance to their character. There's gonna be some personal conflict involved, and you're not getting any of that within this at all. And I think that's definitely JT a really good point. I think that's a big thing that's missing from this.
I still can't put my finger on what was missing from part 1 for me. I'm going to say again, if it hadn't been for the fact part 2 was on directly after it, and I'm reviewing it for the channel, I probably wouldn't have stayed with it. Because there was nothing that grabbed me. There was nothing that said you are excited about this. You have to watch the next episode.
Yeah.
I think we missed a cliffhanger.
They probably had the cliffhanger with the Sea Devils arriving and showing themselves to the entire world. That would have been a much better cliffhanger. The bit they did like 15 minutes into the episode, you know, that when they come out of the sea and you see New York, etc. That would be much better, I would have thought, if they did it like that.
They needed to get the energy going, Paul, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't do a cliffhanger on a monster reveal when said monster has been on posters and pictures for the last 4 or 5 months. It's no surprise. It's no shock. We've seen the sea devil warrior creatures. We've seen the human fishy bint. We've seen all of them, and it's just no surprise, is it? It's like the typical Terry Nation Dalek script.
Yeah,
you know, Planet of the Daleks, my personal favourite. But right at the very end, he's been sent there by the Time Lords to chase the Daleks. He's got there, and he sees a Dalek at the end and goes, "Daleks!" Well, of course it is. One, it's in the title, and two, you were after him anyway. And this,
well, they could have got Kate saying Sea Devils and ended on that. That'd be quite good. Yeah.
But they could have also been. I mean, I get what you're saying there, Ian, and I agree. But that's for us. For the the show is obviously intended to be a 4. You know, they wouldn't have bothered. And as we covered on Thursday as well last week in our preview show, there wasn't much given away in the TV listings magazines in the UK. It was all pretty standard nonsense with the same sort of photographs, blue sea creatures. You know, I think it would have been more of an impact had they built up part 1 to some sort of urgency, and then the reveal of the creatures, maybe even coming into that tank.
Yeah.
It's just me. I just thought, it's a shame. It's a shame, really. I think it missed something.
Can I just interject with a comment here from Funky1463 that honestly, with the way you're going, I think you should just write it and we'll finish it up there. He's saying we need Benton to turn up in episode 5 with a bazooka to make calamari.
Who knows?
I'm sure John Levine's available. Yeah, so
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
He'd love to do that as well, wouldn't he? He'd turn up, not a problem. Yeah.
I think JT, when you're talking about like the normies or the people that don't watch, you know, don't know about the Sea Devil, don't know, you know, it's all kind of new to them. And we were kind of saying before, I think the tension is really in oh crap, there were creatures here before us. Like imagine we found out today that there was another whole species that was here before humanity. I think they again focus on found it like number 1. If you were didn't have any clue about this, what would be the most interesting aspect of this whole story? It's not going to be the kind of pollution aspect. It's not going to be creatures threatening mankind to a certain degree, yes. But I think I would have started at like basic number 1. What's going to be the most intriguing aspect of this of these creatures in the story? And I don't think they've focused on that personally. They've gone to try and use the Sea Devils as a way of showing how bad humanity is when it comes to pollution, rather than focusing on what's going to grab a general audience's attention about these creatures and like how am I going to introduce them in a way that isn't technobabble and actually is show don't tell. Because I did think in that whole part 1 there was a lot of tell, and no show, basically. It was too much unique character and giving a context and dialogue on the Sea Devil rather than showing and building, as you say, part one and part two to demonstrate what the creatures are and to the shock suspense of, oh crap, there were creatures here before and they've been living under the sea the whole time. Yeah, anyway, I've talked long enough.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not, because the Sea Devils, like the Silurians, the way Malcolm Hulke, God love him, originally wrote them, with the limits that we know they had, have the potential to be incredible, strong characters.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to see where the threatening characters emerge in this series as we move forward. You know, you see a little bit in part two, which we'll come to, but I don't know. I think there's a lot more that can be done with making them. We've tolerated you apes for so long. You know, this should in effect be the final straw, really. You know, for them. But who knows if it's going to be. Dalek Lives Matter is saying it missed proper talent being involved, but then so has most of New Who.
Yeah.
Cara Who's is saying to us, it just seems to be more of the same. Humans are bad. Sea people good. We're all doomed. Yeah. There is that, as Emilia was pointing out, there is that element. It's easy to make the human race look awful in all sorts of ways, isn't it? It really, really is, because we have many, many faults, more so a lot of the time these days than possibly we've ever had before, arguably. But that's easy to write. It's easy to write about. And the Keyring of Razlon joining us. Hello. As yet, I understand it, the overnight viewing figures have been surprisingly good. Well, obviously, you weren't with us at the beginning of the show, and I will tell you them now, because these are the overnight ratings from BBC One last night. The War Between the Land and the Sea. Part 1, Homo Aqua, got 2.83 million. And then Part 2, Plastic Apocalypse, which we will be reviewing on Thursday, live at 8, lost a significant part of the audience within 5 minutes and went down to 2.1. The question is, Razlon, why Ian, were people not retained within 5 minutes to watch Part 2?
I just don't think they could probably buy into it, to be quite honest, and probably felt where it was going. And it's a naff title as well, isn't it? Plastic Apocalypse. I mean, it sounds like one of Katie Price's implants has bust, doesn't it? Really, it's just a plastic apocalypse. It's not. It doesn't grab you, does it? Really.
This is the other thing. Sorry, and this is the other thing. You've just reminded me. Why did this thing need episode titles anyway?
Yeah.
You know, why did it need Homo Aqua or whatever it is, and Plastic Apocalypse, and then the rest of it's coming? In fact, I can tell you now what it's all called. Look, I'll show you, because we're going to be talking about scores on the ocean floor very soon. The Deep is part 3. The Witch of the Waterfall is part 4, and the End of the War, is part 5.
There's a cracking title, the last one. There really is. That's so much thought put into that one.
Why does it need that? Why can't it just be mature enough to say it's called The War Between the Land and the Sea, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5?
Yeah.
He's a pretentious little twat.
And he likes the word end in his final episodes, doesn't he? End of the world, journey's end. He likes ends.
And I think it's probably a big mistake putting episode 2, the Plastic Apocalypse, as a title, because it just sounds so preachy, doesn't it? And that's probably put people off. They thought, I'm not watching that. It's all going to be really preachy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the war between land and the sea sounds like a David Attenborough documentary, doesn't it? That's just a general title, and then having mini titles between it. I think I get his argument for Doctor Who was that he didn't want like part 1s, and he got rid of like part 1s and part 2s and all of that kind of stuff in the second one, and because I don't think they believe that people will, if you put part 2, it's going to put people off. But in this is a serialized drama. You can just put part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5 in the way that Children on Earth just had day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5.
Yeah.
The problem is he's trying to be David Attenborough, and he's not.
He's never going to be, though, is he?
Never going to be. No.
I'm sorry,
never
but
going to be.
He has explained very clearly the issues that plastic are causing, and done it so well. And RTD doing it comes over, I don't know. He just doesn't have the gravitas, and neither does the show.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it again, because I honestly believe he's lost the ability to write. He's now more about the preaching. He's about his own message. He's about political side of it. We know his politics. It came across in those episodes of Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor Who, loud and clear. Okay, it's not as loud and clear in this, but when you're writing in lines, don't refer to them as male, and we're better than that. That says it all. It's still absolutely there, even in part one. We've got Stephen O'Neill with us saying to us, Plastic Apocalypse sounds like a bad 90s pop group. It does, yeah. We'll be talking about that on Thursday. Make sure it's up there on the channel. Make sure you ring the bell to remind you.
Well, there was Yaz in the plastic population.
The only way was up. And Steve Andrews saying, I thought it was shite. Thanks for that. Straight to the point there. Good to see you, mate. Welcome. And Terrified Monk saying, doesn't matter to me. I watched the first one and won't be back for the rest. You and thousands of others who didn't go back for part 2. It will be very interesting to see what happens with 3 and 4 on Sunday. Honestly, Marie UK, hello, darling. He thinks we're stupid, so he thinks the title should be obvious. I just don't.
I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Marie's got a really good point there. To be fair, he does. He is incredibly condescending to his audience, and he can't help it. It's too ingrained for him.
I think that's why he spells everything out. You know, he can't leave anything to the imagination.
He's petrified you'll miss it.
Open to interpretation. Nothing. You're not allowed to use your imagination or interpret things how you do. It's got to be spelled out for you, every single thing.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Go on, Paul.
That's the problem. Doctor Who never talked down to his audience.
No,
and that was one of its strengths, and he's completely ignored all of that. You know,
totally. Yeah, and the other thing he's got is he thinks he's got. Yeah, and you haven't, by the way, RCD, because the audience is no longer there as these ratings are proved. But he thinks he's got an audience that is going to be massive enough so that he can push the message that he wants pushed, his narrative. And we've spoken about this on Headlines and on other shows as well, that far left way of looking at stuff. You will do this. You will obey. I mean, look what they're doing next year. They're getting together to have a rally, for heaven's sake, where to stop the rise of the right, the far right. It's just nonsense. These people are totally deluded, and that's their industry. Go on, Emilio.
Because the ideology is bang on, JT. That's because the ideology that he spouts is all about what to think rather than how to think, and that's a lot what young people are taught nowadays is what to think rather than how to think. And he's doing that, as you say, he's not leaving things up to your imagination. I don't know why we are spelling out genders when it comes to aliens in fucking TV. Sorry, excuse my language. In TV shows, it's just like why would I spend my time thinking about male female when we're talking about aliens that have just come out of the water? Like, come on, like it's just very obvious. He's trying to tell the audience, you need to think in this way. And if you were in this situation, you would be asking a question around their gender. It's just go and do one, mate. Go and jump off a cliff in Wales.
But these are the massive differences between original Doctor Who and the new Doctor Who, and now this spin-off series as well. We didn't care about things like that because all we had were monsters. That's what we wanted. We wanted monsters and the Doctor battling monsters. Now they have to push all this stuff in, whether we want it or not. And quite frankly, as the ratings and the diminishing fan base for Doctor Who has proved, we don't. I still personally think if they go ahead with the tone that this has, which is a bit more of a serious, mature tone, and do a Doctor Who series, and I'm not talking RTD here, I'm talking about a new team with BBC Studios with a more mature look. And if they did the rubber-suited monster type story, I think it would be a massive hit eventually.
Yeah.
As people get back into what we used to call science fiction. I think there's an audience for that. John Booth with us saying the modern Doctor Who era with the message, and last night was full of it. I don't know how many times my eyes rolled over.
And Paul, did anyone, by the way, sorry, JT, just quickly, I just come to my mind, the Christian bloody comment about the fact that he did the sign of the cross, and then you got Gemma Redgrave saying, "Oh, the Christians are here." Like, okay, RTD, if we did the Muslims, how would that go down? Or the Jewish, or let's go any other religion. It's easy to take the piss out of Christianity. It's just infuriating, obvious.
It's a bugbear of his, though, I think, Emilio. I mean, this goes back to Queer as Folk in the late 90s. He's got this thing about Christian people and Christian faith. It's very misplaced. And I've said that for decades now about him. You know, and I think it comes from his generation of gay men and their idea about Christians bashing them around the head. Russell, you've got it wrong. Move with the times. It's not the Christians that are going to bash around the LGB community now, or even your precious TQ community. It's the other lot. Move with the times. Wake up, you bloody idiot.
He doubled down, didn't he, with Second Coming as well?
Oh God!
He really went for it on that, and I think in the first episode it had him confronting Catholic priests, didn't he, and things like that, and making all the usual aspersions and things, you know, which, let's face it, sometimes are true, but across the board. But you're right, Emilio. He would just not dare go there. He does not have the balls. The BBC doesn't.
There was no need.
No, you're right. You don't need to go there at all.
Sign of the cross in pay of effect, and that's the reason why she chose him. Actually, was a decent reason. You didn't need to have other characters comment and make a comment around Christian. It didn't need it. It's like he just can't help himself. It's like he just had to get that message across. It's like you don't need to.
Where he's got a cause, he's just got verbal diarrhea. He can't stop.
Yeah. It's
and
true.
It's wearing after a while.
Well, it's
and
been
how many
20
Christians
years.
are there in the country that could be watching that? And he probably just annoys some of them in the process. So you're just hemorrhaging view, like you're just deliberately going out to annoy viewers. You're meant to be trying to get as many audience members as possible. You do not need to make any mention of specific religions or anything like that.
But we know from his interviews on other shows and magazines and stuff, he doesn't care about that, Emilio. He's there to rock the boat and get people to think the way he does. That's what he's there for. That's what he thinks he's there for. It's wrong. And that he's just shown again why he's not suitable for Doctor Who in the future. John Roberts, in my opinion, it's no surprise of what was dished up, no surprise at all. It's a shame, John, that I'm going to have to agree with that. I was hoping for something different. And although it wasn't as whack in our faces as the Gatwa crap, those elements were there. We're going to have to see how many are going to be in there as we go into the next episodes. Michael's with us from Java Bean Studios. Absolutely. He needs to spell everything out. Remember, the Master Reborn. Yes, we get it, mate. Yeah, it's true. If RTD wants to do documentaries on pollution, go ahead. Just stop polluting Doctor Who, says Marie UK. Another good point. Paul Richards saying to us, the Green Death tackled environmentalism way better.
It really did.
Yeah.
Compare this to the Silurians, Paul, and also to the original Sea Devils. You know, as kids, as George was saying the other day, as kids, you would watch it just thinking, wow, I love these monsters. These are great. I'm going to watch this every week. The adults that were sitting with them would have gone, oh, that's an interesting point, perhaps, or I don't agree with that. But it wasn't bashing you over the head.
Yeah.
You know? Where
There's
is
room
it?
for interpretation, and that's what it should be all about, really. Yeah.
That's what original Doctor Who was about. You know, where is this in the timeline? Says Domgo. Is Doctor 14 still at home and Gatwa turned into Billy Piper? Why is it, Domgo and Whotastic Panel, is that halfway through part 1, I thought, why haven't they phoned David Tennant's 14th Doctor again? Why is it? I'm always thinking that.
I did the exact same thing. Yeah, because where is he?
Or got Torchwood involved.
Well, Torchwood is now, aren't they? They've gone, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, Justin.
Yeah, but that's it. So what we've got here is we do know that the bloody 14th Doctor with a functioning TARDIS is 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
Why did I think of that in the show? Domgo, I'm with you. What a massive big plot hole he created for himself there. What a div.
Yeah.
Said it before, I'm going to say it again.
He's probably in the garden. He's probably in the garden still, you know, just chilling there, just going, oh yeah, you know what?
He's having pasta bake with Bonnie Langford, isn't he? Yeah, still. Yeah.
It is definitely that era, though, isn't it? It is definitely that, because he referred to the unit tower and that's very much been a Gatwa and the 60th anniversary story thing. So it is definitely that era. So, yeah.
Yeah, very true, Ian. That's a very good point. Yeah. And why? I didn't like all these references to the Doctor, because it just brings Gatwa to mind. You know, how I once met the Doctor, you know, and changed my life within seconds and all this sort of stuff. Again, it's that lovely thing, or not lovely thing, but it's that obsession that RTD and Moffat have of turning the Doctor into Superman. He is not a superhero. He is flawed on many, many levels, more so now in the last 10 years than ever before.
I did quite that line. I can't remember in part 2 or trying to one if it was, but when she says it's like when he goes off script, it's like it was like working with the Doctor. I quite like that. That was quite a good reference, but not necessary at all though, because if you're trying to divorce it from the series, why mention the Doctor at all? Because you're trying to do your own thing, you know. So
but then that follows what he's done for the last 2 years, isn't it? You don't need the original series, and then referred to it in every episode, and had both series big bad drawn from the classic series.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? Russell Tovey's character Barclay, right? They obviously have an issue with him because he's grade 10, and all it takes is them to say, "Oh yeah, I met the Doctor once." Oh, he just kind of walked past, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
And all of a sudden, they would be best pals. It's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's that thing. We've had this in Unit in one of the stories before. With I think it was the one in another tower, the Canary Wharf Tower. What was that called? The last
Army
one.
Ghosts. Doomsday. Was it Doomsday?
It was there, wasn't it? Where they all sort of bow down to the Doctor, and he's some sort of, you know, hero of them all.
Yeah.
That wasn't Pertwee's Doctor. It wasn't Baker's Doctor, who went the minute he could. The first possible minute he turns his back on Unit, and off he goes again. That wasn't the Doctor. You know, I just, where did they get that from? Because RTD, Moffat, the like, have made him that. It's awful. Tim Kintz, it is lovely to see you. How are you? Speaking of aliens with gender, as they were in the chat, I'm also up for how fish aliens can be homos. There's a joke I'm sure you've done already. Evening all, and so glad to see JT get well very soon. Thank you so much. I'm in what I said on Thursday. I'm in the healing time. And if you know what story that's from, good for you. Good for you. But it's a Doctor Who story, the healing time. Thank you for that. But yeah, I mean, they did make the joke though, didn't they? They went there on that one. And that was, so wasn't it Homo Aqua? They did make the joke.
You're right, Kirsty.
I'm still here.
Did you follow the tea there? Just wondered.
She's been drinking too much of that Homo Aqua.
There, everybody.
Yeah. But the thing is, those jokes, it's RTD thinking it was funny. It really wasn't. I didn't find any of them funny at all, really. And it wasn't. I know they had like the was it Toby Barclay character with his ex-wife and his daughter talking about like homo gay fish, and then you had the constant comment from the unit operatives when they were saying names, trying to make jokes out of it, and it's just like it isn't funny, and also it just cuts away from the tension that you're trying to build to throw these jokes at it. It's again RTD, right? If you're going to write something serious, don't have loads of jokes.
Or don't call them Homo Aqua in the first place, you know.
I don't know if there'd been jokes in Midnight. There were no jokes in that, and that was a proper serious, you know, scary episode. You know. You don't need to add jokes in. It doesn't have to be diverse in that way. Let's just talk serious, you know.
The thing is, if you're going to put humor into these sort of things, it has to be through characters, and it has to be natural. That's where the Doctor is a gift, because each of the original 7, and I'm not really going to speak for 8 onwards, had this ability to make a joke out of something. Do you know what I mean? Just a slight. I don't know, a slight humor aspect into it, but it comes from a character. And I don't think Barclay or anybody around him is humorous in any way, shape, or form. No. They all come across as just a little bit up their own asses slightly.
It's really forced, isn't it?
Yeah. So to do that whole thing about Homo Aqua, ha ha ha, it just didn't feel right.
They go down a blind alley. When you really think about it, they go down a blind alley with all these names anyway. Because I mean, you start with the Silurians, and then Pertwee acknowledges that the Silurians was wrong, and they should have been called the Eocenes because it was a different geological era. So it was, instead of the Silurian era, which is real, it was the Eocene era. So let's say the Silurians were actually the Eocenes. Well, to be honest, so are the Sea Devils. They're Eocenes as well, because they come from the same geological era. So they're just Eocenes. Stick to it. It's not racist. It's factual. Just stick to it.
Well, this is the thing. You know, I was there that day when one of the conventions when Uncle Terence Dix, almost went, oh God, when somebody brought this subject up, because it was one of the things he did not like to, because apparently it wasn't even Eocenes, because some clever dick came along from Science Club and said, no, you're out of time again. And it was a nightmare for them. Richard Brooks is saying to us, Russell Tough Davis began his return to the show by insulting Terry Nation, Michael Wisher, and fans by ruining an iconic villain, Davros, as we all know. He learned nothing. This will not be different. Well, he did exactly the same thing with saying the Sea Devils, you can't say that anymore. It's racist. Yeah. What a stupid thing to say. What a stupid, why, how, to whom? It's not as if you see a Sea Devils in Tesco, is it? Although I don't know those for crying on the trams here.
The Silurian name, though, is a much better sounding name than Eocene. Sounds a bit crap, but Silurian had a great ring to it, you know?
That's the reason why he used it, I think. I think he just looked at a geographical list and thought, that sounds good, and used it. And at the end of the day, how do we know that they couldn't have lived at that time? You know, at the end of the day, they could have done. We don't know that. But it was just a good sounding name, wasn't it?
Like I said, though, they could have simply had the Homo Aqua people say, we're called blah, 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 and that would have solved the problem. You know, much simpler.
I just feel Homo Aqua is just such a rubbish name going forward.
Yeah,
but Homo is human, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're not. It's very confusing. And this is what happens when you try to be very PC. You get yourself tied up in bullshit. And I'm going to say it. Stephen O'Neill's saying to us, I'll carry on watching it, but we'll probably end up with viewers' regrets by the time the finale finishes on the 21st of December. Well, that's good.
I think we all will, We're
going to be here as well on the 22nd of December. Probably the same. Who knows? It might actually pick up and be fantastic and brilliant. Everybody keep your fingers crossed. Mudcrab. Hiya, mate. What I find interesting is to consider the timeline. The fish thing has been planned for years. This gives us an idea of how successful RTD believed he was going to be. It does. It really does. And now look where they are. And they're bringing him back, as we all know, because BBC Studios are inept. And so they can't see anybody else being able to do Doctor Who apart from him. They are absolutely 100% determined to keep his name assigned to this project. And they're not going to do anything without him. Ridiculous. I can tell you now, BBC Studios, you're in for another flop. And this proves it. 2 million on a Sunday night, when a few weeks ago you were getting 15 million for a reality television show with a load of has-been celebrities, please. Apart from Celia Imley, who I love her. Yes, 15 million for The Traitors. Come on. Overnight. God knows where it got after the 7 days and the 28 days and the 365 days that they all celebrate. Honest to goodness me. I've got another article here for you. This one is not on screen, so I'm going to read this to you, but I thought this was another element of where we're going. This one is from The Guardian. The War Between the Land and the Sea review. Prepare to roll your eyes a lot at this fishy Doctor Who spin-off. From The Guardian, boys and girls. Dodgy character names. Zero, I can't say this now. Subtlety. Jodie, what's the word?
Subtlety.
Thank you. A dubious approach to female roles. RTD's show about fish folk is entertaining, but feels like a wasted opportunity to make genuinely great TV. 3 out of 5. A lot of them were giving it 3 out of 5. We're going to be doing scores on the ocean floor soon, so let's see what we all say about it. This is Lucy Mangum. The Fishman Cometh, or to put it another way, The War Between the Land and the Sea, the long-awaited Doctor Who spin-off from RTD, concentrating on the adventures of Unit rather than the double-hearted man from Gallifrey, is finally here. RTD stalwart Russell Tovey stars at Barclay, an everyman figure who soon, to 2 excellent puns incoming, finds himself out of his depth, nay, a fish out of water. She's good. As he's forced to take the lead in the geopolitical crisis that surrounds him. Barclay is a low-level clerk with Unit, who, though the kind of bureaucratic snafu that you may in your salad days have believed was confined to fictional romps, aimed largely at children over the festive period, until age and experience poured slugs into them, ends up being part of the operation sent to deal with the discovery by a group of Spanish fishers of, well, fish folk. These creatures, the leader of the expedition, General Austin Pierce, explains, are sea devils. They inhabited the Earth long before we did, but became trapped beneath its surface when the planet reformed when they hibernated. Quite a revision. Each member of the species, renamed Homo Aqua for the duration, has a pearl embedded in his neck. So I got that right, didn't I, on Thursday? The purpose of which is unknown. If this conceit strikes you as a little clunky, why I suggest you pour yourself into a shot of Bailey's and get used to it. We are very much in mid-tier universe, and setting your expectations any higher will only damage such delights as remain. Okay, onward. 2 set pieces full of special effects later, ground turns boggy, soldiers and fishy corpses disappear beneath, experts are baffled, fishy army emerges from the sea to screech terrifyingly at unit, and rocky outcrops crop up in waterways around the world to hijack global communications. And interspecies meetings convene to find out what the guild botherers want. What they want, it turns out, as their leader Salt, whose uninspired character name may require another shot of Bailey's and a small eye roll, says is to partake of a modern morality tale delivered with the subtlety of a great white ramming small boat. Salt opens discussions by slamming down a parcel of her dead babies who should have been born at the turn of the third cold current and were not because humans have poisoned and polluted everything. Homo Aqua only continued this discussion, she says, with Berkeley as the leader of the human side. Why? Because presidents, politicians, ambassadors, and military leaders cannot be trusted, and because he was the only one to show respect to the body of the creature killed by the fishes. Berkeley wonders if she might have a point. Maybe it's time people like me had more of a voice. One parable at a time, please, guys, or at least wait while we put more Baileys in the fridge. But Kate Lethbridge Stewart, already known to Whovians as the head of Human, is thrilled by this turn of events. She has always found constrained by the political and bureaucratic rules that surround her. Now we can build a better world for everyone, she says. Although quite how, when all she seems to do thereafter is beg him to keep reading the committee's words off a teleprompter and not go rogue as he speaks it with Salt, I'm not quite sure. Then she goes on to say, meanwhile, fat cats and traitors who want to protect economies instead of ecologies are plotting in the wings. At home, Berkeley's wife is being wholly unreasonable about things that he has no control over. I always enjoy shows that pride themselves on progressiveness, then make the nearest minor female role a quick harpy. Is that bottle chilled yet? She goes on to say, look, it's fine. It's solid entertainment for kids, and I can see teenagers starting off sneering, but failing under its spell soon enough. But when you have a spin-off series with such potential, when you couldn't help but hope for something along the lines of RTT's brilliant years and years for a younger demographic, it's hard not to feel that the war between the land and the sea is an opportunity wasted. They could have taken another pass at the title at least. And Salt and the Pearl thing, given us a real Christmas treat instead of relying on the season's goodwill. Not what I was expecting from The Guardian.
No.
Did they say it was good for kids though? Because it's not in a kid's slot, is it?
8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Young adults, really, isn't it? It's not really for children.
No, it's a tweet slot at best.
Yeah.
And the reviewer makes a really good point. What is actually, we don't really get the goal of UNIT or the politicians and what they want to kind of get out of the meeting with the Sea Devils, and it all feels a bit too easy. The Sea Devils haven't, apart from appearing, haven't really up until this point haven't given the politicians of humanity any call for them to go try and go along with them or make peace straight away. I just think it's a bit too easy. I think at least in Children of Earth they had control of the children, and children would just stop in the middle of the street and they would start talking through kids. So the threat was there, but I don't think I just felt it was all a bit too easy on that front. I'm not sure if anyone else agrees. We don't know what the motive is of what they're trying to get out of this. It's not. They're just saying peace, but I'm like, yeah, I don't think that would happen. You wouldn't just go for peace because they just appeared out of the water. Surely the army will be going around killing them with guns straight away. That would be the obvious thing.
Yeah.
I think probably what they would do is what forgot the character, Phil Mackay's character in Salud wanted to do was trying to get to know them and use their technology and abuse their technology and then use it for their own means, and that's what humans would probably do, So
that's a great point here, and I've got that here as well. It's actually pointed out in part 1 that these creatures have technology that is so far advanced, it's beyond us.
Yeah.
Why isn't it mentioned more often then? Why isn't the human race coming together to say, can we have a bit of that? Because we've got all these diseases and things going on, and we've got medical emergencies going on. I mean,
but they didn't show in the show itself. So again, talking up to part one, they have not shown the technology that they have, right? So there's there's nothing to. Again, show don't tell. Show the audience that these guys are massively advanced. Show the audience that, hey, like, the humans really are at a loss here, right? It's a fight they cannot win, so they have to sue for peace. That they did not get that across, and they should have really done that in this.
Yeah, I think we'll get some of that when they go in part 3 underwater, and they'll be ready to go there. So that probably will happen then. But it's a bit too late. I think they should have done it sooner. I agree with that completely. Yeah.
Stephen O'Neill saying to us, the spin-off will either sink or swim with the viewers. Well, at the moment, from what we got from the ratings for
sunk.
1 and 2 on the same night, it did start to sink slightly. But part 3, Stephen will know all about that next week. We are nonplussed, I think.
Yeah.
When it comes to part 1, as a team, as a panel here, lots of different things going on in the chat about it. Craig Dunlop saying, "Did you see those eggs of salts? Big with sharp ridges. No wonder she was a nippy sweetie." Were they the ones they used in that trailer for season 9?
No, I think they're different. I think.
Oh, right, fine, because they look familiar to me. Maybe I'm getting them mixed up with Mestor. I don't know. They look familiar. If you are new to Who's Views, then this is going to be a bit of a shock to you. If you are not new to Who's Views reviews, you'll know that as part of our reviews of new RTD2 era of Doctor Who, we do this little thing which is just for fun, which is called the Wokeometer. This is a piece of fabulous, very expensive AI, which was created by my uncle Sydney. Yes, it involved an awful lot of AI, Angel Delight, and some baked beans and rubber bands. We've managed to bring it down from the Doctor Who loft, and it's sitting over there in the far end of the kitchen. So, for your delight and delectation, the Wokeometer has, as usual, been listening to what the Whotastic panel has said on this particular show. It's listened to what you've all said in the chat, and it's here now. We're going to wind it up, aren't we, Uncle Sydney? And it's going to tell us what it thinks part 1, Homo Aqua, is scoring out of 10 on the Wokeometer. Are you ready, everybody?
Yep.
Here we go.
Yep.
Very exciting. Thank you, Uncle Sydney. That's the halfway mark now, everybody. Okay, so it's stopping at, as Richard Brooks has said here, he predicted Wokeometer would go to 7. And it did, Richard. Well done, you. But the Wokeometer has gone to 7. What do you think of that, guys?
Very good. I think by episode 5 it'll be broken again, probably.
I think you're right. Yeah.
We'll have to see what goes on with it. But goodness me, that's where it is. Rick Storm with the saying, oh dear, the Wokeometer will be broke on the first episode. Didn't quite get there. Did it? But time will tell. We've got several episodes to go, including, of course, on Thursday, live at 8 here on the channel, part 2, the plastic apocalypse. A lot to talk about in that, if I can remember what happened in it. Thank goodness for my notes.
They were plastic, JC. They were plastic. Plastic was involved in this.
Oh, there was plastic in it. That's right.
Yeah.
It's time now. If you're new to us, this is where I ask the Whotastic panel to mark the episode that they've just watched, part 1 out of 10. If you want to take part in this, you can start doing it in the chat now. Mark it out of 10 as we do scores on the ocean floor. Okay, then, right. I will keep an eye on the chat. Lex is already in there, but we're going to start with Paul. What are you going to give part 1, Homo Aqua?
This is a tough one for me because when I saw the trailers and stuff, I thought this has potential to be quite good.
Yeah,
I like some bits in it, but I just feel a bit numb. You know what I mean? I just feel a bit. You know, there were some bits I quite liked, and some of the visuals look really good. I quite like the look of the sea devils, or they're not sea devils. The actual monsters look really good. They're really well done, but they're not sea devils. And there's a lot of things going for it that are really good. But I just think it just feels the preachy stuff again. It's just more of the same. The only relief I have that Shooty's not in it. That's the only positive I can give it, really. To
Yeah,
be
we
fair.
still can't get over this, can we? That we had
Yeah,
him.
yeah. So he's not in
years.
it. So that's a good thing. And Kate Stewart, honestly, really pleased. She cannot be related to Nicholas Courtney's character. There's no connection
No.
whatsoever. There's no charisma. You know, there's a chalk and cheese. It really is. You know, so I'm hard pushed. I'm gonna probably give it a 3. I think. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. So Paul says for this part, 3 out of 10. Okay, Amelia, what are you going to give it on scores on the ocean floor?
I'm going to go with Paul actually and say 3 out of 10. And actually, my review would be fairly similar in the sense that there were a few decent bits. I think that what we have to say visually, it looks very good.
Yeah.
I think some of the scenes with the sea devils in the sea at night with the kind of stormy weather, really good. I like the kind of.
It was
I
one
like the
actor, you know.
opening scene.
It was one actor in a wetsuit, and they just dotted him about it.
I can believe that. Yeah.
I like the scene with the opening scene with the fisherman, and then also where the two soldiers get basically killed, trapped underneath the earth. I thought that was really good. But yeah, I think for me, once it got off the Mediterranean island, it then became a big political thriller. I personally loved a lot of interest, and it was a load of woke stuff. I'm not here for an eco lecture. So yeah, I think you can give it point for the CGI, the directing, and a few nice little scenes, but it's not enough to hold the whole episode together. So yeah, I'll probably go back and watch Children of Earth just to remind myself of what some good spin-off drama looked like.
Fair enough. You're going to give that 3 out of 10. Kirst, what are you going to give this?
A 4. I'm only doing this because I love you guys. If we didn't have this, I probably wouldn't have watched it. Some of the kind of CGI stuff, nice. I liked Gugu's performance, quite cool. Everyone else is like a plank before a ride on Alton Towers. I know it's only going to get worse. It was like a wee glimmer of hope in a diamond, but yeah, don't really trust it yet. It has to wow me. So 4.
Lovely. Okay, Jode?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with 4 as well. I was going to give it 5, but then I thought I was really disappointed by everyone sort of lauding up the CGI on Facebook and stuff, and every single sea devil looked the same with the same sort of tridenty thing. I would have liked to have seen some lack of uniformity. I mean, not everybody in a species looks the same. It's just like they just literally did, as you say, take one and dot them everywhere. And
yeah.
And also, I feel I've got to give it 4 because I saw the second episode. I have to have somewhere to go. So
yeah, I understand what you're saying there. Okay, 4 out of 10. So, Dr. Ian?
I know what you're saying, Jody. RTD. I mean, you know, he says the term sea devils is racist, but is he a bit of a racist if he's suggesting that all the sea devils look the same to us? You know, I mean, is that what he's doing? And Paul, I agree with you. It left you feeling numb, didn't it?
Yeah.
That feeling that's quite akin to when you've sat on the loo for too long on your phone scrolling, and all of a sudden you can't feel your legs, and you go and headbutt the bath. That kind of thing. It was that kind of feeling, or perhaps headbutting the bath is probably preferable. And I've got this week off work, and I was taking a gate down, and all the wood was rotten, and it just reminded me of Kate Stewart. You know, a plank of rotten wood, and that was her acting ability. It didn't inspire me at all. Visually, it had some saving graces. I'd give it 2, but I wouldn't give it any more than that.
Just 2.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, as I say, and as you can obviously, I'm very nonplussed. It didn't grab my attention. I wanted to like it. I liked the tone. I liked the difference. I could tell the difference immediately. And I was very disappointed and actually quite frustrated and annoyed by the fact that this had a tone I would have liked to have seen in Doctor Who over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That's where it should have been. It should have been all the same sort of stuff. And I'm really frustrated and angry with the production team, the same production team, by the way, for not doing that. And I want, if I could get them on the show, that'd be the first question I'd say, why was the war between the land and sea different to Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Why did you do that? Because they've obviously done it deliberately. So I quite like the tone. I just didn't like the build-up. I think it needed to be fleshed out more, and I think it needed more suspense in it. And I think the reveal of the Sea Devil should have been later on, but that's just me. I'm going to agree with Kirsty and Jodie. I'm going to give it 4 out of 10. Now, already from the Whotastic panel, this part 1 of this spin-off has got more than practically all the Gatwa series. Right, let's get into the chat and see if anybody's...
That's a low bar.
Yeah.
It
Lex has given it a 0 out of 10. There will be competition coming up. The movie coming over the next 2 weeks is Avatar, Fire and Ash. The spin-off remaining episodes might get affected with more lowing viewer figures. You think people are going to go out? Okay. Robert Payne is saying 5 out of 10. 2 out of 10 from Derek Hart. 5 out of 10 for Woodhouse 122. Paul Ashworth is saying 7. Terrified Monk 3 out of 10 for the visuals. Dalek Lives Matter 5. Richard Brooks is giving it 0. It was not made for Doctor Who fans. I'd like to know who it was made for then, because it certainly wasn't really the Not We. You know, I think they tried to make it the Not We, but obviously the Not We didn't bite, if you'll pardon the the pun. Matt N. Spiel, I've not seen it, but my score will likely be a big fat number 2. Rick Storm saying 3. Paul Richards saying 3. Steve Andrews giving it a 0. Killbot Kill is giving it 3. Let's have a look. Jess Coburn is saying, thank heavens it was plastic and not rubber. Tire, what tire? Need to tread carefully. The Plastic Apocalypse. Don't forget this on this channel, Thursday at 8. John Roberts, 1 out of 10. It could have been good, but wasn't. We're not alone, panel. Look. Domgo is saying 0 out of 10. It was up to RTD's usual standard. Funky1463, 6 for the episode, but 100 out of 10 for Who's Views. God bless you. Thank you so much for that. That's just blown my mathematical mind. John Mason is saying, didn't watch it, but from what I've heard about it, 2 out of 10. Craig Dunlop is saying, episode 1, I give a 5 out of 10, but having seen part 2, I'm sure this will be the high watermark. John Booth is saying 5 out of 10 for part 1. 4 out of 10 from Stephen O'Neill. A solid start, but went downhill in episode 2. Unit was awful, says Jess. Ooh. Derek Hart saying, like some trailers, it got the best bits out of the film or in case land in the sea. Kate was adopted, says Tyler Jones.
Actually, Kate could be a zygote, for all we know. She could be a zygote.
Yeah, well, that's true. Keyring of Razlan saying, I'd say 6, although I'm baffled that people who admit they haven't seen it can venture any kind of score for it. LOL. It's just a laugh. Just a laugh. Can't give anything by RTD, anything higher than a 3, and that's for the crew behind the scenes. Marie UK. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. What else we got? Well, anybody else got any more for any more here? On scores on the ocean floor. It is on the ocean floor at the moment.
Blind. I'm going to look.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, hang on a minute, Jason. Ship sailed and sank before it started for me. The what's that? Lusitania. Lusitania had more buoyancy than this shower of. Please take the awful Kate Stewart away. She is not any attachment to Courtney, so a soggy 0.3. That's the annoying thing. JT says, "Funky. This should be Who Tone, but it's a kids show." Yeah. I mean, when you look at Doctor Who of the 80s, which had a specific several tones actually, because as we were saying the other night, season 20 is completely different to 21. 22 is completely different to 21, but the tone was mature. It was for everybody. It was for a family audience, really, to an extent. Terrible considering what we got with Gatwa.
Mm.
Oh.
And for the Philip Shincliffe era is much more mature than what we just seen as well.
Yeah.
And the kids show. So yeah, I don't know why. I don't even see why they see this as adult television. There's nothing about it apart from what you'll see even next year with Kate and her colonel. There's nothing adult about it. I think just tonally it's just a little bit more grittier, slightly more darker. But there's nothing for me out of place if it was in the Capaldi series, early Capaldi.
Well,
Personally.
call me old-fashioned, Emilio. Call me old-fashioned because I don't care. But this is the difference between proper Doctor Who, the old Doctor Who, and the modern Doctor Who. The modern Doctor Who has always wanted spin-offs, and they've always labelled them. Sarah Jane Adventures was for kids, and yet adults loved it and tuned into it. Our generations wanted it because there's Liz, as Sarah Jane, and the stories were more recognisable as traditional Doctor Who. Then Torchwood comes along, and they do what they did with the New Adventures with Virgin. Oh, these are going to be more adult, and there's going to be sex in it and all this sort of stuff. And it was nonsense on most part, to be quite honest. You know, it had a format that was ridiculous. And yet, why can't they just do a Doctor Who spin-off? It's supposed to be in the same universe. Why do they have to label this as a kids one? And why do they have to label that? Why can't it just be the same vein as Doctor Who, like K9 and Company was?
Because he thinks he's omnipotent and can appeal to various niche things in society. And I really despise that kind of labeling.
Yeah. And yet John Nathan Turner, one of the few things he got right when it came to K9 and Company was it was K9 with Sarah Jane, same universe, same tone.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, you feel the Doctor Who team there is in a sense, even though it's not necessarily. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scotsman in New York, it is good to see you. Hope everything is all right for you in New York. I was unable to comment for some reason last week, so just want to say so good to see JT. Looking good, mate, and I didn't watch the bloody thing. Well, you wouldn't do because you're outside the UK. God knows when Disney's going to be showing it outside the UK. Of course, once we hear about that, we will be reporting it on headlines probably. But thank you, Scotsman in New York, and it's good to see you as well. Hope everything is all right with you over there. What else we got here?
He could be Scotsman in North Yorkshire, you know, JT. Just saying.
He's in New York. I was praying for Bob Mortimer and Paul Whitehouse to catch the fish people things, says Stuart Barham 3958, saying, and away. That's taking me back. That is taking me back an awful lot. Oh, thank you for your super chat here. Andy Radar 8498. Hi, folks, playing catch up. Quick question. Why did everyone need the Sea Devil strung up in the barn? The first thing they'd have done was take him down just so Barclay's story could happen, I guess. That's Andy. Absolutely agree with you. What an inhuman thing to do. Leave it hanging there. It was weird.
Yeah.
Was it pushing the fish thing? Because that's what they do with fish, isn't it? They hang the fish up.
Yeah.
Or was he trying to
it's a crucifixion image.
Yeah, that's
why. Common. It's a crucifixion image.
Very weird.
Yeah, you're right.
That's sick. That's terrible, isn't it? I've just
said Jesus was a fish.
The way it was like, it was definitely a crucifixion. Trying to get the imagery of Christ.
It would have been far more appropriate to have it in like a scientist setting, like an autopsy setting. Yeah. And I just didn't get that. I was like, what are you playing at? That's really weird religious symbolism there.
I've only just clicked that. That is shocking. Now I see what you're saying. I get it. Don't like it. Don't appreciate it. Because I thought, when I saw that, I thought, that's sick. Just hanging him, letting him hang there. Anybody normal, any of us would have gone into a situation and said, get him down. And we would have said to him, get him down. That was awful. And now I see your point. Typical. Absolutely typical. Andy, I hope that's answered your question there as well. And thank you again for your super chat.
It's even worse that they got him to do the sign of the cross in front of it as well.
Yeah.
More insulting.
There would have been absolutely nothing wrong with Barclay portraying his human side, his empathetic side, with him being on an autopsy table. It's just equally as sad. It's something that's died.
Yeah, because the actor could play, if it was written, remorse, sadness, tenderness.
It doesn't need that. That's just
because the whole thing about that as well, when you've got this corpse hanging there, is the way they put the pearl back in. And we now know the pearl is some way of sharing images. It's some sort of transmitter, because they're watching him. I mean, they put that back into the show, don't they? Where they've watched Barclay. Sick, actually. That's quite sick. Yeah. But why are we not surprised, everybody? Thank you again, Randy. I don't know if I can say this on the channel, but sir, you know what turn there. You naughty. Water between the gland of the seamen was dull. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. That's not bad. That goes with us, isn't it? Not bad.
That's a much better title, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a sad state of affairs, says Stephen O'Neill, when the spin-off has better ratings than the parent show. At the moment, Gatwa was getting similar ratings for a little while, but don't forget, Gatwa's went down. There's only 5 episodes with this, and it's already started to go down between episode 1 and episode 2. And as I say, within 5 minutes of BBC promotional adverts, which were bloody awful. Good God. If you're still paying for a license for the BBC, I'm going to ask you now why. Get rid of it, defund the BBC. Any more on the old thing? Yeah, Dalek Lives Matter. Yeah, Emilio and Jodie have just solved it there for us, isn't it? Shocking, actually. Absolutely shocking. I'm genuinely quite appalled by that now you've explained it to me, because I didn't see it. But I'm not surprised anymore. Matt has joined us as well and said, if they've been hibernating, where has the tech come from with no one awake to build it? Well, it was all buried with them, wasn't it, really? Because they had cities. If you remember the original Silurians and the Sea Devil shows, they all lived there way before the apes took over, i.e. us. They had cities, they had technology, all sorts of things. So they just closed everything down, went into hibernation. It was all there for them when they woke up.
But they didn't build technology that was oil-proof or plastic-proof.
See, that's the other thing that's missing from these things. You know, human beings would say, "How do you do it? Is it organic? How do you do it? Can we team together to?" Oh, I don't know. 40 years as well. The humans give them 40 years.
That was crazy. That really was. Yeah.
I don't know if that was part 1 or 2, but we'll mention it again on part 2, of which, as I keep saying, is going to be Thursday live at 8 here on Whose Views Reviews. Come and join us with more of that as we build up and look forward. I say look forward. Preview episode 3 as well. All there for you on Thursday. To Paul, to Emilio, to Third Doctor Ian, to Jodie, to Kirsty. It's great to see you all. Thank you for coming along and sharing that with us. Jodie, you can't be with us on Thursday. You're going to be able to be with us on Monday?
It depends on the...
What dates? Oh, God, I can't. Yes.
Oh, she's terrible, isn't she? She's awful, isn't it? From all of us as well. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to please like the show. Give us a thumbs up. Check your subscriptions if you've already subscribed. Please make sure you've subscribed. If you haven't subscribed to us, please do subscribe. We've got a lot on the way for 2026 because we've got a lot to catch up on from 2025, including the return of our Blake 7 shows. We've got our spin-off shows. We've got more reviews to do. We've got loads of stuff to do in 26. It's going to be very busy. You don't want to miss any of it. That's what I say anyway. So come and join us. Please make sure you subscribe and ring that bell to make sure you're getting notifications when we're going live. You can find us on Instagram, which this one here looks after. And you can also see us on our Facebook page as well, Whose Views. Until Thursday, which is our next scheduled show. Got to get used to saying that because you never know what happens in this crazy Who world. We'll see you on Thursday live at 8. From all of us, thanks for joining us. Take care of yourselves. Ta-ra.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.